Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Thursday and it is time for the beginner's guide to adult coloring or adult coloring from the beginning. We have been working on skin tones and we have done our light skin tones. This is the light skin tone done with the Brute squares, and we're going to be taking the next level. So we're going to be starting to add some brown tones, getting that tanned golden tan skin color. So we're going to be starting over again. We will be using some of the colors from the original skin tone, and then we're just going to start enhancing it. We're going to start adding those colors in to give us that tannier skin tone. So I do have the Brute squares here, both in English as well as in the Chinese. So we will be using those. I'm just going to slip that under there so that we can work on this page. So once again, I have my template. This is a template that I created using the program I use for videos and that sort of thing. I do have a membership to this, a subscription to this program that I do pay for, which allows me to use these types of things. So first of all, we're going to use number 95, which is Brandied Melon. And the 95 is going to go into our shadow areas. And again, like I said, we're going to start adding that browner tone to the skin. Now this is not going to be a dark skin. This is going to be a medium tone skin. So a little darker than a light, but not a full dark skin. Because tan, I find, is harder than dark, oddly enough, because it's a balance between the lighter skin and the darker skin, giving us that golden suntanned look. Now I may not get this right and that sort of thing, but we will do our best. And you know, it's progress, not perfection, that we're going for. I don't do a lot of these skin tones because I'm not confident with them. I do try my best, and I do try to make sure that I give the skin tone as much color as I can to create what we're striving for. However, not always turns out. So if it doesn't turn out, don't worry. We will do our best with it, and hopefully it will come out the way I want it to. I have done a darker skin tone with the Brute squares, so I do know how this is going to, how it should turn out, how it has turned out in the past. However, each time you pick up your pencils, depending upon your mood, depending upon your frame of mind, that sort of thing, depending upon how you're holding your pencils, there's so many different variables that sometimes, even if you use the exact same colors, the exact same pressures, the exact same thing, sometimes there's just one little nuance in life that has you changed in the way you're doing things, which will change the way that it turns out. So if you have a day where you find that you've done this before and it's not turning out the way you want it to, just remember that sometimes things just don't turn out. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow, try again, or work with it. It's not always going to be perfection each and every time. And we are never striving for perfection. We're always striving for progress. Because Perfection is just boring. All right. I'm going to put in a little bit of this color under her eyebrow. And then the next color we're going to use is, so we're going to start going into our peachy tones. So we're going to use number 11. I just have to find it. So this is a bit of a pinker tone, and it is called Crystal Rose in the English version, and in the Asian version is Dancing Sakura Snow. So it's a pink, and we're going to come down off of the darker color. Blending that out. Now I'm actually going to put this color everywhere on the face because it is going to blend with our browns to give us that undertone, under skin tone there. And again, it's going to look horrible as we start out. Don't expect it to look perfect when you've only added 2 colors to your skin. It's not going to. Don't expect it to. I'm not covering all of the white spot. I'm not even putting a heavy layer down. I am very loosely covering the skin tone on her face here. Getting into that area there, making sure that's at least blended in together. And I'm going to go right over her lips. And like I said, this is a very light pink color. And it's a large area, so it's going to take a little bit of time. And like I said, I'm not pushing on the pencil. I'm doing a very, very light layer. All right, now we're going to move down here onto the chest area as well. I hope everyone has been enjoying this series. If you have any suggestions on what you would like to see me do or find out how I do something, just leave a comment below the video and I will be happy to work that in. You know, it helps me understand what you want to see and gives me ideas on how to go about things. All right, so now we're going to add some 117, which in the Asian version is rabbit scroll. And in the, I think that one is a different color in the, So there's a change in the browns between the new version and the old version. So the old version rabbit scroll is this color here, in between a red brown and a yellow brown. And that's the set I have. So I think it would be Thai curry. It's a little bit too yellow. There's not really there's not a color that goes with this one that matches rabbit. What I would suggest is you use this one and add a little bit more of the, yeah, because that one's this one here. Okay, so let's use this one here, the Ginkgo Avenue in August, which is number 20, and Thai Curry in the regular ones. Now this is going to add a little bit more yellow than I would want to start off with. So be aware of that. Keep on forgetting that I can't put that in there. So I have to use this sharpener. Sorry about the shaking. Giving you a shake around. Oops, let's just fling that anywhere. I'm not even writing things down. What is wrong with me? My brain is just not working. So the first color that we used for the shadows is this one here, which is number 95. Let's get our colors down here so that we can so these are the first colors that we're going to use. So number 95 and number 11. So number 95 and number 11 are our starting points. And then number 20 is going to be next. And we're going to come off of her shadow areas, blending into the lighter area here. Now I'm not sure about the yellowness of this pencil. We may have to do a little bit of color correction on that yellow. But we will trust the process. I know it's looking a little odd, but we will trust the process. Now the old set does have a brown that I want to use, and we will probably still use that brown as a color correction, just to take down a little tiny bit of the yellow in this pencil. Now I'm going to have to go and take a look at what pencil will give us the color correction in the new set. I don't have the new set out, so I'm only using the older set. So I don't like using pencils, even though they've changed slightly. I don't like using pencils that when I have a full set that still needs to be used up, if that makes sense. So we will take a look and see what pencil, if you have the newer set, what pencil you would need for that color correction. But for now, we're going to use number 11, or number 20, sorry. Number 20. This is the same color in both sets. Now I may be able to color correct some of it with number 95, but we will see how that goes. And again, like I said, it's not always going to turn out exactly the way you want it to. Sometimes you have to make adjustments. And the best way to be able to make adjustments is to try to put down as little color as possible when you're first laying down color. You can always build up the color. It's more difficult to put the tooth back in the page than it is to build that color up. All right, so there is number 20. And that's a little bit more yellow than I want. I want to have number 117, which is so, oh great, now my sunshine has gone away. It's gonna come and go, so all right. Huh. All right, so the closest one to 117 in the new set is number 24, which is mink. Just use a very light hand when you're putting it down because it is a bit darker than 117. And this is what I wanted. It's giving me a little bit more of that warm. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So the correction is 117. If you use number 24, which is mink, you will find it's a little bit redder. So you may have to layer both 117 or 20 and 24 to get to that mid-tone that we want to see. And again, don't worry about the color. Don't worry about the way that it looks blotchy. Don't worry about any of that. Just try to get to the color that you want it to be at this point. And like I said, we're not going to be covering all the areas yet because right now we're just moving in from the shadow areas into the skin tone base. And it's not going to look proper yet, but it will get there. And again, I'm just using a light hand blending into those colors. Little fragments that you see are because I sharpened my pencil too sharp. All right. Just adding that color in. And we will be coming through with a lighter color. and blending that together. Just trying to get some lip there. And then down here as well. Try not to push too hard. And if you're using number 24 out of the new set, make sure that you are definitely using a light hand, because you're going to have to blend that back and forth with the lighter color to get to the right tone. And the color you're looking for is this one here in the middle area. So this area here is what you're looking for when you start blending those colors together. You may have to add a little bit of each until you get to that color. All right, so that's number 20 and number 117. And I'm going to put up here in there, and we're going to put number 24 in the bracket because that's the alternative color. And then we're going to take number 64. Actually, we're going to take, is it? Yeah, both of them are. Let's take a little bit. Yeah, let's take 64 and yeah. So number 64 is a little bit of a yellow. So it's called Hay. And on both sides it's 64. This on the Asians ones with the Asian writing, it's called the belly of the sky. On the English version, it's called Hay. So number 64. So there we go. And now we're going to start blending those colors together. Pushing a little bit harder and coming out into our center areas. Now I've got a bit of a hard line there that we don't want a hard line at. So I'm going to start coming with number 20 first. And we're just going to blend that out. And then we're going to come in with number 117. And again, I'm just going to gently blend this out. Because we don't want any harsh lines. We want to have a fairly smooth blend. And it's still at that ugly teenage stage where it just doesn't look completely right yet, which is fine. it will be fine. And for all of those out there freaking out, don't worry, you're not the only one. I know it's going to be fine, but I am still looking at it going, yeah, that doesn't look right to me. But I know it'll be fine. Now, this is a little bit easier to do when doing a larger skin area or a smaller skin area than a larger skin area, only because you don't have as much space that will show the different colors. So it's a little bit less of a freak out when you're doing a smaller space. All right, and down here, again going all the way into those other colors and blending them out. Like so. Just going to make sure that I get a good layer. Make sure that I don't have any harsh areas. Make sure those lines are nice and smooth. Like so. I'm going to dust this off. And the next color is going to make you go, okay, just a little bit. So we're going to actually take number 48, no, number 116, which is golden lime, or Sahara Paradise. So this is golden lime. So the next color is going to be number 116. And we're going to come in and we're going to put more of a tan to her skin. Which is going to look a little yellow until we put the last color on. I should have gone with a little bit more of an olivey green, but that's fine. The next color will tone it down. And we're going to work into our lighter areas. Basically covering as much as we can without putting any heavy pressure on, because this is not going to be the blending color. Our blending color is going to be the pink that we started off with, the light pink. Number 11 is going to be our blending color. This is just going to be our last color of the actual colors. And then we're going to add that pink to blend it all together. And if we need to, we'll use the hay, which is this color here, just to tone down and put in some of the highlight areas again. All right. Now for our last color, I'm going to give it, I think it'll be fine. So we're going to come back over and giving it one last bit of color. And like I said, I will come back through and tone down if I need to any areas with the hay, because there's an area there that it's just a little bit too heavy on the pink. So we come back through with the hay and blend it down. And I'm getting to the point with the paper that is not taking on a lot of color at this point. So I may have to give it a bit of a mush. Try not to push too hard to blend that color together. Because we don't want to put any hard lines. We want to put the color right on top of it so that we can blend it together. But we don't want to put any hard lines onto it of the color like I did up here, because it will be harder to blend in. I pushed a little bit too hard up here. So we will have to correct that. And the way that we're going to correct that is an eraser. So we are going to erase that little bit, and then we're going to come back through and add our colors in that area. And then we'll come back through with the blender. Just going to get this pink in here. Now I'm putting the pink in there and using that pink undertone because this is going to be a tan skin, not a dark skin, not a light skin, but a tan skin. So it's a medium tone. It's darker than a light skin tone, but it's lighter than a dark skin tone. Now again with the hay, just to calm down a couple of little areas where that green is, and blend that pink into it. So we don't get a lot of really blotchiness. Just bringing that color in, making sure that I got as much of the white spot covered as possible. Without going too far with that color, without putting too much pressure on the color, causing it to show darker than I want it to. Okay, now for her forehead here, where we're going to have to fix, I need my eraser. And of course my eraser keeps disappearing. I have no idea where it went to this time. Ah, there it is. I found it. Alright, so we're just going to take the corner of the eraser and we're just going to lift off a little bit of that pink. Because I put too much pressure on it. Like so. And then we're going to come back through with this one. We're going to come back through with our browns as well as our pink. So we're going to start with number 20. And we're going to go back into building that area up again. That area didn't have enough brown in it. And then number 117 or number 24. And then number 64. And then number 11. Okay. No, I'm not liking the way that's going there. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of 117. Doing a little tiny bit of course correction here. 117 is the darkest of the browns that I've used, which will blend into those lighter yellowy browns and correct a little bit of the yellow area. Where the yellow is a little bit too prominent. Alright. Now we're going to do her lips in this pink. Like so. And then we're going to take our blender and we're going to start up here at the top. And we're going to push that right into the hairline. And then we're going to start bringing it out. I'm not liking that spot. Oh well. Like I said, not always turns out exactly the way you want it to. And this spot is not turning out the way I wanted it to, but that's okay. Next time it will. Just moving all that color from the dark to the light, blending all those colors together. Seems this girl has a really blotchy tan. She had sunscreen on some areas, and it seems that the cloud really doesn't want me to be coloring. Hopefully you guys can still see the colors okay with the clouds covering up the sun. So as you can see, the more I blend, the more that the colors combine, giving us that more golden color. Now there are a few areas where the pigment didn't sit properly on the page, which we're going to have to touch up. So this area here, I want a little bit darker. Now because I've already got the blender on there, I'm just going to go with the darkest color first. I'm not going to build the color up because there's not enough tooth on the page to do that. So we're just going to add some darker color and blend that into the lighter color. Covering up that little bit of a patch. Same with here on her lip and her nose. Just going to add a little bit of that darker color. And then we'll come through and blend that in. Same with up here. Now this area here, because I had to erase, is a little bit smoother than anywhere else, so adding color to that area may be difficult. So if you had to erase it as well because you pressed too hard on your pink, you're going to have a little bit of a shine highlight there, is what we're going to call it. But it's basically a little splotch of a lighter color that you're not going to be able to add any color to darken it up. If you want to, before you start blending, you can try to add color to that and correct it with color instead of erasing it. I was finding that the paper had already started to fill at that point. So I was a little bit concerned about not being able to fit any more color on that area anyway. So erasing it would have given me a little tiny bit more play with the paper than if I was just to try to add that color on top. Alright, so there we have her skin tone on her face. Like I said, it is a little bit blotchy, and I can come through and just gently, don't put a lot of pressure on the blender, but gently come in and smooth over some of those areas, moving that pigment around. Like I said, I am not perfect in coloring darker skin tones. I'm okay at doing the lighter ones, but it's out of my comfort zone to do the darker ones. I have done them. I do know kind of the best colors for them, but not very often. Next week's is going to be really interesting because I've never done a dark skin tone in the Coloria. I have in the Faber-Castell, so that one will be a little bit easier for me. But I have never done a medium or dark skin tone in the Coloria. So that one should be an interesting experiment in ability because yeah, you guys get to do a first with me. The first time I ever color a dark skin tone in the Coloria. I have done light skin tones with it, but not any dark ones. So we will see how that goes. Again, I'm just using the Caran d'Ache blender, blending all those colors together, starting in my darks and moving into my lights because I want to blend that from dark to light, blending those dark colors into the light areas so that we don't have any harsh lines and we get a nice smooth blend. Again, I'm using a medium pressure, blending those colors together. I think her tan's a little bit darker than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. I wanted her tan, not yellow. Alright. And I've got an odd little area here that I'm not quite sure I like the way it blended. So we're going to take our pencil and we're going to go the opposite direction. Because there's some lines there that I don't like how they were put down. And blend those together, softening that edge. So that we don't have a harsh area there. Like so. Now we're just going to gently, not putting any pressure on this, I'm just bringing that color in. Trying to blend them together. Like I said, sometimes your tooth of your paper is done with the amount of colors that you've put down. So you will find sometimes that you can't add any more color. Now, if you can't add any more color, then just blend it through and see what areas you feel that you could have done better. Always use the test sheet when trying new skin tones, new combinations, because this will give you an idea of what you need to change in order to complete that skin tone to the best of what you want it to be. So there we have our darker skin tone. Like I said, there are a couple of areas that I would have preferred it to be a little bit smoother. But I think that we have accomplished that tan coloring the way we wanted to. All right, so we have our tan coloring and our light coloring. Now we can add a little bit more of the pink to her cheeks to give her some rosy cheeks, but I don't think it's quite necessary. All right, so that is the lesson for today. So we've started off with a number 95, which is a rosy pink gray color. And then we went to number 11, and we put 11 everywhere on the face, giving us a little bit of a pink undertone. And then we moved to number 20, which was a little bit of a yellow. And then we went to number 117. Now, if you're using number 24 out of the new set, go back and forth between 20 and 117 until you reach that tan color. And then number 64 over top of it, just to blend that yellow down just a little bit. And then we added a touch of the green, just gently coated the entire area in the 116, which is a bit of a yellow-green. Now, I would have preferred a more olive green, and I should have used number 48 instead of 116, and that was my first instinct, and I should have gone with it. Because it would have given us a more of an olive tone, less of a yellow olive. So keep that in mind. I was able to correct it to a point where it does give me that tan skin tone, but it did take a lot out of the paper just to blend all of these colors together. So there is our skin tone for the dark color. Now, this is not a dark skin tone. This is more of a tan skin tone. You can go lighter with this or you can go darker with this. Another thing that you can do, if you have not fully blended this color chart with your blender, you can take a brown pencil, where it is, there it is, and you can add directly to this chart. Now, I blended this, so I may not be able to add a whole lot of color to this, but you can, as you can see, you can bring that tan color in and change the color from your skin tone coloring from the last time. Now, all of these skin tones are great to use when coloring a tan skin. Now, what I would suggest doing is you do all of your skin tones the same way you would coloring a light skin, and then you bring in a yellowy, tanny color. Now I'm using number 20 here, which is that lighter brown yellow color. Because I have a lot of peach tones and a lot of orange tones in the basic skin color, I'm able to bring that yellow in and create that tan color. Now, why didn't I start off with this? Well, because I wanted to show you that you can start off from scratch with a white sheet and still come up with a tan color using your browns, greens, and pink tones. Now, like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to add color to this because I did blend it. And I am able to add color to it very, very lightly. And it's giving us that skin tone, that tanny skin tone. So like I said, in order to get the tan skin tone on a skin tone that you've already colored, or if you've gotten really good with the light skin tone combination that we did, we're going to actually do a little bit of building on the light skin tone just so that you can see how you can take a base skin tone color and turn it into a darker skin tone, whether it be a tan, whether it be a more of a Native American kind of color, or whether it be, more of an African American color. You can still change the light skin tone to reflect those colors, just by adding different colors. Now I'm not going to blend this again because I don't want to take the tooth out of the page, because I am going to be adding more of those colors to this page. But I wanted to show you that you could take all of these colors from your Brute light skin tone and add some browns to those colors to give you that tan skin tone. I'm almost done adding this light brown. Now this does have a lot of yellow in it, so you will get that deeper tan color. And again, over the bridge of the nose, I went a little bit too dark, with a little too heavy-handed with the yellow, which is fine. We'll work it in. And once I get this in, we'll add some brown, some of the darker brown. So I'm going to use some 117. You can use a number 20 and, no, number 24, and add a little bit more of that number 20, and go back and forth until you have reached where you want to go. Now, can you start off from white paper to this skin tone and then add to it to create your dark skin? Absolutely, you can. However, the darkest of the skins, most of the African skin tones have a lot of the darker colors in it. So using your base skin tone here, you may find it more difficult to add more color to it as you get closer to the color that you want, because it's already completed. Alright, now I'm going to take our darker color. So this is number 117. And I'm going to come into the edge here. And blend it in with that shadow color. And like I said, this is just adding to the colors that we already had down, and where we started from, just adding a little bit of color to that will give us that tanny tone. Some of the paper is not going to take that color change. So some of them you're going to have to work a little bit harder to take that color change. All right. So there we have that in there. I want to come through here a little tiny bit more. There we go. And I can go over this with the blender in just a small area so you can actually see what it's going to look like. I'm doing this very, very gently so that I don't take up all the tooth, but I do move those colors together. So in comparison from here to here, you've got a really nice light tan. But in comparison from here to here, this is a much lighter tan than this skin tone here. So we've got our light tan skin tone on this page and our darker tan on this page. Now the reason why this page here is lighter is because we started off with a lot lighter colors. Also because we have blended those colors. So having as much tooth on the paper to drag, to add more color is a little bit more difficult. And as you can see, just blending them together smooths it out and gives us a nice tan. So remember that when you're doing a skin tone and you're feeling very unconfident, scared, stressed, how many other words can I put to this about doing a skin tone like this and ending up with as blotchy of a skin tone as I just did. You can take your white skin tone, your light skin tone, I won't even say white skin tone, take that more of a peachy look and add a little bit of a light yellow brown, a light tan brown, and see where it takes you. If you feel that it's not dark enough, add a little bit more of a darker brown. If you find that you're too dark, just take a little bit of a white and add that to your palette. All right. So like I said, this is giving us more of that sun-kissed tan, and this is giving us more of that I've been out in the sun working for days on end tan. So it's a much darker tan than just a little bit of a sun kiss. This, of course, is the starting color that we started with, the light skin tone, and then it goes into that tan skin tone. All right, guys, so that is it for today. Again, the color that I used on the skin tone, I'm going to write this down here for tan, is number 20. And a little bit, like all of it, I covered the whole face with number 20, and then I added a little tiny bit of 117 into our shadow areas. So we started off with all of these colors combined to make this skin tone here, and then we take this color here, which is number 20. Make sure I've got, oh no, that's number 117. I've got the wrong one. So this is number 117, which is going to be added to our shadow areas. And then we have number 20. Where did it go? I keep on losing this pencil, and it should be in my hand. There it is. It is in my hand. So we're going to cover the whole face in number 20 first. On top of all these colors, we add number 20. And then we go into our darker colors with number 117. So this is number 20, and this is 117. All right. So like I said, you can take this skin tone and create this skin tone with it just by adding those two colors. Or you can create this skin tone completely from scratch. However, don't push too hard on your page. I pushed too hard in a couple of different areas, and that's what's caused that blotchiness. I've oversaturated the tooth of the page with the oil and the wax of the pencil. So try not to put too much pressure on your pencil and try to build that color up. Again, like I said, it's a lot easier to go from this one to that one than it is to start scratch, unless you are going to start by doing this part first and then adding your yellows, your browns, and that kind of thing. it does make it a little bit easier to do that. All right, guys, with that, I would like to say thank you all very much for watching. Of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artist that you enjoy. And of course, always remember that this is a lesson in progress, not perfection. I am never going to say that I am perfect. I know that most of the YouTubers out there will tell you that it is not perfection that you're striving for. It's a learning process, what is best for the way you color. All right, guys, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. Until next time, bye-bye for now.